Rohan Gupta, you first. You know, the Congress is celebrating. The truth of the matter is that it appears to me that the celebration may well be premature. Because let's assume that the names come out. You will then have to show that there is a quid pro quo in those specific names. What if you are not able to prove that? What it might actually result is that in future, the opposition parties will get even lesser money through the check route. Now that names may have to be disclosed. Nobody wants to give money to a party they think is losing.
See, absolutely not, Rajdeep. It's not about, celebration. From day one, from the time this scheme was announced, Congress was against that because it is against Constitution. It is against the right of voter to know who is funding which political party. And the way this scheme was designed, I think is a big tight slap on the arrogance of BJP. This is a big tight slap on their so-called fight against corruption. Modi ji was speaking against corruption yesterday, a day before in Abu Dhabi. And see, this is the biggest example of corruption by BJP.
What is the corruption? What is I asked this to Mr. Sibbal. I'm asking you, what is the corruption? The corruption under the scheme, corporates could give money through bonds without their names being revealed. Correct? What is the corruption?
I'll tell you what is the corruption here. See, when, according to this scheme, the recipients can be known only by SBI and it is not available in public domain. The way this government has functioned, it stops the right of the people. Suppose the Congress party is opposition party. We know what happens to people who support Congress party. Do you feel that if this scheme is like this, people will support Congress party or even if they want to donate? No. Because SBI, the information is available to SBI and the way this government is functioning, we never know whether they can access the information from SBI. On other side, BJP, which has collected more than 65% through electoral bond, there is no disclosure. So people can completely openly donate without just getting into radar of the people.
Okay.
At least people will know that, okay, these are the people who have given donation to BJP and these are the political benefits they have got in terms of contracts, in terms of the deals, whatever they get. Obviously, there is a correlation between them.
Okay. Let me bring in Rajat Sethi on that. Rajat Sethi, prima facie, it appears that the electoral bond scheme could have involved quid pro quos which were not being made available to the public, and that's why number of people are celebrating that you need transparency in the system. The voter has the right to know who is contributing to whom. To that extent, it is the BJP government scheme has been ruled unconstitutional. It is therefore a slap on the face of the government.
Let me burst the celebratory balloon. Nobody in fact, any aspect, any stakeholder in the ecosystem stands to gain out of it. Any kind of a retrospective step is in itself a travesty of justice, in my humble opinion. If the law of the land today says that, my names would be anonymous, tomorrow if one entity goes up, a constitutional entity says that no, retrospectively I'll go and change, that is travesty. That is against natural justice, and I humbly disagree with the Honorable Supreme Court on this. Next, look at, all of you have already discussed this point. Through the electoral bonds, a little bit of tinkering that could have been possibly be done was to remove that information from the SBI, put it either with the RBI or with a constitutionally independent body like the Election Commission or the Supreme Court itself. And what Supreme Court actually did was they threw the baby along with the bathwater. They could have ideally gone in and tinkered with the structure so that the information asymmetry that was there with the SBI holding onto that information could have gone to somebody who could have been a trustworthy organization of not sharing that information with anybody. Now here in this process, we have been thrown back 5-7 years ago when the state of affairs was such that there was no transparency whatsoever. So we are stuck in that mode where the election, where you will continue to, parties will continue to receive cash. No corporate entity would come out in the public domain and would want their name to be acknowledged with any party. Today, you associate with the conservative parties, they might be pushed back even nationally, internationally. There might be a lot of liberal governments around the world which might go against the corporate donors, conservative donors in India. So it will have international repercussions as well. So I don't see.
So you actually made a point that you believe the baby has been thrown out with the bathwater. Quick response, Rohan Gupta, and I'll go around the table again. Quick response from you to that. That actually cash will be back. That's my point. The worry is Good that bonds have to be made transparent, but we could go back to the worst of the cash system.
I don't agree with that. I think when transparency is there, anybody wants to bring cash, obviously they are against the public domain. It's not that easy. But here today, if it is quid pro quo, people don't know. People don't know who have funded BJP, what are the benefits they have taken.
But I can get a quid pro quo through cash also. I put my money in cash and I will get a quid pro quo. You're telling me there were no quid pro quos before 2017 when the Congress was in power?
I am not saying that. I am saying that even if there is quid pro quo, it is known to the people. Today we don't have under electoral bond scheme. You don't have any mechanism to know who has done what and who has benefited out of it. So that's the difference here. At least there is a transparency. We know that in order to correct the system.
No, 1 minute. Okay, 1 minute. Talochan Shastri, that's the fear. As someone who has done, extensively campaigned for transparency, good that transparency comes into the system. But the court has said the bond system itself is unconstitutional. As a result, we are now in a vacuum ahead of the Lok Sabha elections. Who knows, the BJP already has got its funding organized. Maybe some of the regional parties in power already have their funding organized. How is this going to change anything substantially?
It's not. You see, there is a big myth floating around saying that somehow electoral bonds had removed the cash donations. Our own data shows that only one part of the donations received by political parties was through the electoral bonds.
How much percentage roughly would be?
Sir, it is like the tip of the iceberg because cash...
10%, 20%?
Anybody's guess.
6,000 crores BJP receives through bonds in the last 7 years. They must be spending 50, 60,000 crores.
No, I'm not talking about any political party. Yes. What I'm saying is that the cash in circulation, according to the RBI, has doubled since demonetization. So black money has not disappeared. And the black money is not only operating in real estate. It is operating in the political system as well. Political parties before 2017 got black money. After 2000, when electoral bonds were there, they got black money. And they will continue to get black money. The problem of black money is a red herring when we are discussing the issue of electoral bonds. It has nothing to do with electoral bonds.
So what changes come tomorrow? Or what changes come March 13th when all these names are put up on the ECI website?
Nothing. The public, in a democracy, the information is very vital. And people will know who is funding who.
That's the public's right to know.
The other thing, they're saying that the corporates are afraid. I am not agreeing with that. You see, as somebody has said, it's a Supreme Court judgment. The government and the SBI at any time knew who was funding whom. It's the public which we did not know.
Right.
So making it public doesn't make any difference. The government always knew that. So what, we're just raising...
Okay, let me bring in at this moment Dr. Qureshi. Dr. Qureshi, what changes come tomorrow? I'm sorry to sort of prick the balloon a bit. My worry as a cynic is that nothing will change. If anything, cash will grow. That's what my fear is.
Radeep, I have been writing and I've been saying that even if electoral bond scheme was an improvement on cash donations, all that we wanted that the donor and recipient should be disclosed, which was a 30-second decision for the government, which they never bothered. If they had done it, we would not have come to this stage. Secondly, the real issue is being skirted. There are alternative solutions if they are sincere about it. Alternative solution is start a national election fund where every corporate will pay by check without any fear of reprisal, and from that fund give to the political parties based on their performance. This is a suggestion which has been on the table for 20 years. Nobody talks about it because they are not
So not state funding. Let me get that clear from you, Dr. Qureshi. You're saying not state funding, create a national election fund, political party, corporates give it to the fund, not to a specific political party. Then the election commission, based on the performance of a party, distributes it. Am I correct?
Exactly.
But then the BJP, which gets 350 seats, just a minute. If the BJP gets 350 seats, Congress gets 50. Are we saying BJP gets 7 times more out of that fund then?
No, absolutely, because it is based on performance. And this kind of system is working in 70% of the countries of the world. So if it can work elsewhere, why can't it be tried here?
Subhash Chandra Garg, if it works elsewhere, here we have a concrete solution being offered. National Election Fund, all corporates are free, individuals are free to donate them, their names will be disclosed, but they're not giving it to a specific political party. That's done by the ECI based on the performance of a party. Is that workable according to you, Mr. Garg?
So if it is voluntary, no donations will come. If it is made compulsory like corporate social funding, that you make 1% of your profits into this fund, this will come. But that is like a tax, as the social corporate responsibility is. And secondly, if you distribute that in the ratio of what the seats there are, the electoral bond share is not worse than that share. If the BJP has got about 57 to 60% of total funding, that is precisely what it will get, or maybe more, based on today's funding. So that solution looks better, but actually is not going to make any difference.
You're saying corporates will not voluntarily fund into a national election fund. Why? Why will they not voluntarily fund?
Why should they fund? The corporate funding is precisely because there is a quid pro quo. They won't benefit. Why does all the money go to the party in power, whether it is the central government or the state governments? You have seen your...
So you're saying, you're making a huge point. You're saying corporates in this country will not fund unless they're getting a quid pro quo. Am I correct? They're not doing it out of any generosity of their heart. Yes, Dr. Qureshi, quick response from you.
Yeah. The corporates will donate because there will be income tax concession, income tax in the name of income tax relief, all kinds of donations come. So give a very decent tax relief, and they will all flock to it.
You're saying they will flock to it. Rajat Sethi, do you agree with that? That maybe, we need alternatives. Let's be honest. Today's Supreme Court judgment should push the system to look for better alternatives.
When the alternatives are being discussed, Rajdeep, let me also throw in the possible US alternative, wherein you make all lobbying legal. Let the corporates come out and say that I'm lobbying for so-and-so policy, and I'm going to support whichever party is standing with me on this lobbying effort. I mean, that too is working in one of the oldest democracies. I mean, if others are setting an example, then so be it. Because right now, all lobbying is happening without the citizens coming to know. And if Supreme Court is legitimizing the fact that the public should know under right to information, then so is the public, willing to know about what kind of lobbying is happening, what kind of quid pro quo is happening in every single transaction. By an extension, then corporate lobbying should also come out as a legal sort of an alternative.
Okay.